Hello, everyone, and welcome to Yogi Natraj channel. A very grim situation in the world today, and of course, we have to be very alert right now at what's happening. Alert, alarmed, and focused. Now, many astrologers predict, and many a times it comes true. Sometimes it doesn't. Now, please understand this point: that astrology gives you a situation, and that situation is brought about by your own actions. Now, when you are confronted with a danger or a difficulty or any situation or even good, like you get a lottery, you get money, but then what you do with it in that situation depends on your level of intelligence, depends on your level of connection with the universe, connection with God. Unfortunately, what's happened during this pandemic, it was a great time for awakening. It was a great opportunity to awaken, to give up meat, to give up exploitation of nature, to give up hatred of each other. And instead, we can see that the sectarianism, profit, like in India with this pandemic right now, everybody is looking for their profit, short term profit. All your thinking is coming out. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, the consciousness that you develop at the time of death, the consciousness that you develop, so when you're pressed hard, that's what comes out. So that's why they say no matter what meditation you do, what yoga you do, everything will be revealed at the time of death. So the life is a preparation. Now similarly, in these very extreme circumstances, your real nature will come out. So we can see the world leaders, instead of really opening up their hearts, now these vaccine patents, all these different things, and instead of really pushing each other to help humanity, everyone is furthering their agenda. And that's the saddest thing. We haven't come together, the world hasn't come together. Number two, everybody is understanding that people who died, they would have had obesity, comorbidity, and so many other health issues, because of which when the virus attacks them, their immune system is exposed and they suffer even more. Now instead of immediately working on it to give people good habits and immediately work on it, eat healthy food, focus on short term and long term starting now, instead of exercising more, focusing on health more. Unfortunately, that whole issue is not even being discussed. Only thing that's being highlighted by the media is all these side effects, all these situations. Whereas if somebody does simple neti, dhauti, now why is this important? Because astrologically, what it says, the way you can change your karma is by knowledge and intelligence. Now this knowledge and intelligence, now although we said that things will change, however, if people do not make that change, it's like the situation of the world is now almost like diabetes. It's like you cannot get rid of it, but by making proper changes, you can neutralize the effect. Now this is where everybody counted on. In the beginning there was lockdown, people disciplined for some time, everything worked okay. Now in the US also, they are trying to open it up. Now if we are not careful enough in opening this up, then what will happen? Again, the same situation could come back. So therefore, the most important aspect here is to improve your self-immunity. It's a time for the world to recognize that the damage that has been done to the earth is very grave. The climate change and all this is real. Just watch all these exploitative movies, all these series that are coming, how environment, Seaspiracy and different movies, how the environment is really running out of trees, animals. So Literally, with such an amount of destruction, nature will strike back. Now we have to have a two pronged approach. We have to focus on our personal health, personal safety. At the same time, we should all become aware that in the long term, we have to help all our fellow beings survive and survive in a healthy way to overcome this crisis. We should all come together. Unfortunately, when the leaders themselves cannot come together in these difficult times and help each other, that we can see when India needed help, some people came forward, but especially the US was thinking twice. And after media pressure, just to stop a bad press, they sent out some statements. We can see now, although the situation looks very grim, there is hope. Now we can see right now. So I have two charts. One is India, one is the world right now. So the world right now, as we can see, the Mars is almost here out of this Rahu Ketu axis. So the world by large, the world is kind of, the US is kind of recovering right now, although uh, the number of jobs did not rise very high. Yet it's on the path to recovery. Summer will be better. However, and this will keep improving as the Mars moves more further. Venus crosses the Rahu. Venus is in its own house. So the overall, the world looks to be in the path of recovery. However, coming towards the end of the year, there will be another wave. Now, again, this need not be as deadly if people take action now. I'm always an optimist. So, what happened in India? They opened up too soon, declared a victory too soon, and instead of being aware, although it might have been a victory, instead of really becoming more aware, becoming very um, alert, instead of becoming alert, yes, we overcame the earlier danger. Let's be alert now. Instead of taking that alert approach, they relaxed, and nobody actually took the seriousness. Simple things. If you take anti-inflammations like turmeric, if you do simhasana, so I have all these videos, simhasana, how to breathe your, how to improve your oxygen capacity with the simple breathing, prone breathing, and simhasana. If everybody would have practiced and really taken a cautious approach, this can strike us back. That warning was also not there, and when that fear is not there, you go on with your day-to-day approach without changing your habits. So it's just like diabetes, just like I said, if we do not change our habits, the things are going to get even more difficult. And we can see the rapid cutting of trees and the cities becoming more hotter. Breathing becomes very difficult. There is not, when you have trees around you, the breathing is easy. Right now, with all this pollution, all this population, and all this cramped environment and the stress of watching these videos and media, people are getting even stressed out. And moment people come out of this pandemic, the next thing is, even within this pandemic, there is enough time to think about politics and settle scores. Now, what do you do with such a situation when your life is at stake and people die over trivial? So that is Kali Yuga. So we are in the midst of this dying over trivial, whereas the humanity, the future of humanity is at stake. And until and unless this is drafted forward, and the only way to draft it forward is to actually have a spiritual mindset. So we can see that US has improved now, although there are almost 800 deaths every day. So the thing is, the potential is still there. We are not out of the woods yet. So therefore, for the next 1 year, now we have to be cautious, yes, but at the same time, it's not just about living in fear. We have to build up our immune system, because this wave, as we can see, so this Mars is here. So if you look at, if I look at the birth data, now let me go to December. So there is more eclipses coming. together. So if I look at December, we are going back to the same Rahu Ketu axis again. So things will slow down. And definitely, when the eclipse comes again, all these eclipses that are coming during this year, there are the effect is again going to amplify a little bit. But this wave won't be very heavy if we prepare now. Now, how much this wave is going to affect us, we already know the devastating effect. We are already seeing India. Now, if the rest of the world is not careful enough, if you just go back to normal, yes, then this wave can be deadly. But hopefully this will be the last wave. But every year, of course, as long as we do not develop our immunity, just like even regular flu can kill people, even this can, right, that we are seeing. So uh, the awareness needs to come. Change your karma with proper knowledge and practice. So yoga, when you do Surya Namaskara, when you do mantra, it changes your karma. Now, going back to today, if I put May 8th, we can see that Mars is out of this grip, which is a good thing. And then gradually Venus, Mercury. So all these are going forward. Now Jupiter and Saturn separating. Now this is good news for the US. Right now, the pandemic is not bad. But in India, it will come under control very soon. If if astrologically, if we see and people apply their knowledge and with the mitigation efforts that are going on, so within a month, so today is May 8th, so by which is what everybody is predicting, but even in general, it should be under control. But the lessons learned. So if you look at India right now, so India was born on 1947, August 15th, early morning, midnight actually. So Moon Dasha, Saturn Bhukti. So Saturn is giving, Moon and Saturn are together, and it should recover sooner, although the devastation has been more. Now remember that the amount of destruction doesn't just depend on the astrological points, but how people act, right? So the Moon Dasha, so Moon is in the third, but it's in its own house, and with the Saturn. So Saturn started in December 5th, 2019. So this whole wave, so the secondary effect of Saturn, so this effect will go away soon. So Moon Mercury period is coming up. So Mercury is second from its own house and 11th from its exaltation house. So the Mercury period should be good. So July 5th, so before July 5th, so by June, the effect should be gone. If you look at it, by mid-June and by end of June, it should be fully under control. Then the Moon Mercury period starts, and that's good news. It will be a period of rapid recovery. So India would have learned from this experience, and hopefully people become more aware of trying to be focused on their immune and trying to control themselves, in the sense, instead of focusing on all things that are unnecessary, focus on the self, the body, and focus on self realization. If you have a higher goal, then you will take care of the lower goal also. That is, body is not the highest but the most important, because without a sound body you cannot have a sound intelligence or focus on self realization. So people have to come out of petty politics and keep their vision higher. So it's a time to rise higher. mm. And in the Moon Mercury period, this intelligence will be there. People will look for something higher, because they will understand that this ordinary situation that people are living in right now, with the infrastructure, with all the food that everyone is eating, this is not helping them. You need something better. So this quest will start. So the world will move towards a higher direction, but how good a direction that people get and take, so that again depends on desire and karma. So if you see all the avatars of Krishna, they came because the devotees desired. So if we desire something higher, if we focus on a higher desire, then definitely you will get that. So that period is coming up in July, a period of thoughtfulness, a period of higher thinking, because you have to go beyond this partisan approach. And those who become very partisan, those who are very self-centered, there will be a punishment. And we can see punishment, or whatever the world is going through right now, it was not built up overnight. It was over a period of time, just like diabetes takes 15 years. So over hundreds of years, this industrial civilization, killing trees, killing animals, so many hundreds and thousands of cows, and especially the cow killing should stop in India. If cow killing doesn't stop, then the next wave is guaranteed will be even deadlier. So cow killing should stop. People should focus on healing, and people should give up meat. Only then the world can actually rapidly make improvement. Although we have been hearing that this is the biggest cause of climate change, but there is no serious change that people are actually doing, because we have literally 5 to 7 years to prepare before there is a global climate disaster, massive disaster, just like a tsunami. 5 to 7 years. And if we do not change now, if we do not make that rapid change now, this is a huge warning. Now India should lead the way. I expect i hopefully expect the prime minister and the leadership to take up this very seriously. In the US, of course, it's a good thing Joe Biden is talking about it, but how much he implements it, how much, there's a lot of pressure in Europe also to implement this climate. But that begins with giving up meat. If people give up meat, then a lot of progress will be achieved very fast. But the alternative to meat is not soy, is not another low class food. The alternative to that is some healthy diet, healthy living, and healthy exercise. When the top people who control this huge world infrastructure, when they are greedy, then they thrust it upon you, then the pressure just builds up. Then the pressure, just like a domino effect, everybody gets pressured. So this is a time for the world to think, to prepare for what's coming, for the climate catastrophe. So this is just one virus, but there are more catastrophes which are on the way if we do not take care of, if we do not reduce the amount of cow killing, if we do not reduce the amount of animal killing. At the same time, the way we live, so in Kali Yuga it is said people have a tendency to self destruct. So we have a tendency to self destruct. So that's what is happening, even in the midst of this, people have enough time, countries have enough time to fight a war, countries have enough time. I mean, it's just mind boggling how, when death is right next to you, you have enough time for all these things. Now the Indian variant is spreading everywhere. It is not just that vaccine will protect you. Your own immune system needs to be strengthened by regular diet, fasting, yoga, and practice. So how much people implement? So although astrologers predict it will reduce, but reduce doesn't mean that you again increase the amount of bad karma. In between, meat eating had reduced when the virus first began, but then they saw, oh, okay, let's go on with it, and it continued. And there were, in meat plants, there was huge contamination. So it reduced for some time, but then it increased. But we can see now it's the time for people to make, it's not just that I put a vaccine, then I do whatever I want. We are putting a vaccine because your immune is weak. And if we do not recharge, if we do not improve on our immune, then don't expect good results and continue with the same mind. We need to develop the strength of our mind. So this opportunity the world has until we get into October. So around October, the next wave will begin to build up if we so-called return to normal. Now, India's situation will be different at that time because India would have learned from this. So the moon, Mercury, although there will be the next wave around November, December, but by that time, I hope they would have learned from this, maintain social distance. So the Mercury will be there. Um, it's best recommended not to travel at this time. It's very dangerous. You don't know where you can get stuck. But it's summer within Europe and US. It's relatively okay. It's not expected until October, November. Again, of course, if we see the birth data in November, if we see 21st, so November 21st, if we actually, okay, Jupiter is almost close, so let's put November 22nd. So November 22nd, Jupiter and Saturn. Oh, it's Jupiter is going back. Okay, one moment. So November 18th. Okay, let's have November 17th. Okay. So this could trigger. So this could trigger, uh, and October, November. This could trigger the next wave. But after that, of course, now people know the mitigation measures. So things will be, but how bad it can spread before that, now we have to be careful. So September, October is a susceptible time for Europe and the US when this Jupiter comes back. mm. So you have to be very, very careful. mm. So we can see that in November it begins to leave, but before that Jupiter is coming back here. So September, October time, the retrograde, this effect will be there, we can see, and this effect will continue for some time. And then we hope people would have learned their lessons, and it's a time to practice yoga, it's a time to protect your immune, it's a time to really develop your strength levels, and time to be confident. Don't be fearful. If you always live in fear, but living in if, even if you are not fearful, we should not be stupid. That's another thing that we can do. Nothing will happen, I should not be fearful. We should be fearful, we should not be fearful, I'm sorry, we should not be fearful, yet we should be alert. We should be very, very alert. And if we are very, very alert, then we will see that um, with this alertness and doing the right things, we will um, gain more benefits. So, practice yoga, do fasting, focus on mudras, meditation, mostly keep your diet right, cleanse your throat, drink hot water as much as you can, and I would also recommend colloidal silver. We spray colloidal silver and keep ourselves as much antiseptic as much as possible. And in this way, you won't be affected so severely, mm, in many ways, because it's not just the physical effect, but the mental strain and all these things. So all these things will um, hear meditational sounds, try to focus on getting through one more year of this change. And if you have developed good habits, that's good for the long term. And we hope and pray that the humanity in general develops this sense, and gets on track to better health. I'm always an optimist. Even if it's something seriously wrong, I wouldn't like to talk much. The situation is dire, though. I mean, there are bomb blasts, there are clashes, there are fights. I mean, this is the time you understand that Virus is not for any religion. Virus is for everyone, and everyone is in danger. Mm? And if we do not act now, then it could affect all of us. Mm? So, summary. So, by June, mid June, end of June, India will recover. The world is passing through an okay phase right now. There could be a second wave between mid September to about November, and till about December, the effect will be there. But how severe depends on how we act right now. And I would suggest that right now Jupiter is gaining some strength. So, worship of Guru, we should find good direction. Guru is so knowledge and direction. So, worshipping Guru, Brihaspati. So, we should, so that is why spiritual life begins with worshipping Guru. So, the Guru planet and Saturn. So, Saturn is discipline. Saturn is very vicious also, but Saturn is controlled by Hanuman. So worshipping Hanumanji. So Hanuman, not just worship. So that's what Bhagavad Gita Krishna says. Those who understand me worship me with intelligence. It's not just you keep some book and worship. You have to understand. So you have to understand the character of Hanuman. He was very pure in his habits. He was very powerful, celibate, sincere, hardworking, and always at the service of the Lord. So if we develop these qualities, if we develop these character, so these two are going to be crucial. Saturn and Jupiter are playing the crucial role right now. So worshipping Guru, being honest, very sincere, and being very disciplined. So that is what Saturn wants everyone to be very disciplined. You vary from discipline, then you will be punished. So be very disciplined, and Hanuman Chalisa, worshipping Hanuman, and worshipping Guru. So these two things are very much recommended. For Guru planet, it is Vaman Dev is the Lord. So worshipping Brahmanas. So in the sense, taking higher knowledge. So that's the only thing. Develop your knowledge. Read Srimad Bhagavatam and worship the devotees. And in this way, you will find higher truth. All right. Thank you all so much for watching, and hopefully we'll come back soon with more predictions. Hopefully something good that the world is changing. Thank you all so much. Namaste.